70s, right? So many people started protesting against that glamorous chic. They called themselves kids of nature and they started growing out their hair. They were wearing same clothes, basically, men and women. This is when jeans and t-shirts became popular and it became unisex style. Everything was very simple and very casual. They stopped caring about the clothes itself. So when you don't care about the clothes, you don't care about how it's tailored, how it sits on the body, and it looks slightly unconstructed, but you don't care. So those unconstructed silhouettes, they go for naturals and flamboyant naturals, right? And soft naturals, maybe. So Farrah Fawcett, she is a great representative of the 70s, and she is flamboyant natural. Those jeans like tubes, pretty long vertical line. Again, everything is pretty long and relaxed and unconstructed. This is how it was in the magazines. Still slightly 60s, but not too much. You can see that, again, the silhouettes became longer, not those short skirts anymore. And you can start seeing those natural elements coming into the suits. Even though their dresses and their outfits have its shape, they're pretty official, they are well made, they are tailored, right? But they have some elements. For example, a woman in the center, just some ropes are hanging from her belt. That stands for natural, flamboyant, natural, something closer to the nature, something knitted, some unconstructed hats and something. That stands more for naturals. Here you can also see there's a big vertical line, something wide, something soft, and something relaxed. So as here you can see those elongated silhouettes. So it's elongated top and elongated legs. Tall women with broader shoulders, broader chest area would look amazing in that. Longer top, not necessarily with waist emphasis, just long, slightly unconstructed and relaxed. And then pants or jeans that touch the ground. More natural makeup, right? Not any more of those glamorous or bold or very sharp lines. More relaxed hair. Ali McGraw, she's a natural body type and she's a great example of such a beautiful fashion that was happening in the 70s. That elongated sweater, that unconstructed skirt. Look at her. Can you imagine a woman like that is walking down the street right now in 2020? I can easily imagine that. Looks like she's been on the sun a lot. Her hair is done or not done. We kind of don't see that. Another flamboyant natural silhouettes. Long vertical line. Those trapeze pants. The pants were trapeze whether from the hips or from the knees. Huge glasses, huge bags, platforms on the shoes, and big belts with big buckles. So bigger elements is flamboyant naturals. Again, you can see jeans, t-shirt, and then that huge coat on top with all that fur going on. Again, very flamboyant natural, very vertical line. And undone hair, both for men and women. This is Jacqueline Kennedy in the 70s, and you can see very constructed suit. She has pretty 70s hair here and pretty 70s glasses here. Even though the suit is more dramatic classic, it has more shape in it. It looked more expansive, more representative. She was the first lady. And actually you can see her pants are wider too, so it's more 70s looking. That one, also very flamboyant natural, very natural looking. So as on this photo you can see, long vertical line, wider silhouette, even unconstructed and slightly bulky. And even in dresses, you can see in this picture Farrah Fawcett is wearing. Her hair is slightly unconstructed, it's not super glamorous, it's not curl by curl. And the dress, her dress is still not constructed as well. It's not sleek, it doesn't have its shape. The material is pretty metallic. It reflects a lot of light, but the way it's hanging, the way it's sitting on her body is pretty relaxed and it's pretty unconstructed. Cotton normally sits like that. Now, if we talk about the 80s, everything was slightly mix and match in the 80s. Like when you look on one element, it tells you one story. Then you look on the other element, it can tell absolutely another story. But in general, what do you think of if you think about 80s? You think of the mullets, or huge hair, tousled hair. Big tousled hair, it's actually flamboyant gamine or flamboyant natural types. Big shapes, unconstructed silhouettes. Big shapes, unconstructed is naturals, flamboyant naturals, right? Bright colors, crazy colors. Shoulder pads, huge shoulders. It gives us more dramatic look anyway, especially if the shoulders are sharp. For example, in this picture, Cindy Crawford, yeah, she has very dramatic silhouette in there. Dramatic or flamboyant natural, she's a flamboyant natural. Here again, tousled hair, huge coat, as if it's a man coat and she's wearing that. Very natural kind of vibe. Very flamboyant natural, I would say. Madonna also is wearing pretty huge coat, right? Bulky, oversized, huge. It all stands for flamboyant naturals. That one looks more like 80s gamines, right? Small shapes, cropped, color blocks. 90s is the supermodel era, and the majority of supermodels were flamboyant naturals. Of course, it's a tall woman, pretty sporty body type, pretty wide chest area, long legs, long arms, long vertical line, pretty strong and angular bone structure, right? In the 90s, I also noticed such a mixture of styles, such a mixture of elements. You can't find like a certain one. A lot of casual clothes, a lot of things that are not matching to each other, and even the glamour there, it's slightly different. Again, a lot of unconstructed silhouettes, a lot of oversized elements, a lot of mixture of patterns. Women didn't try to look feminine, look sexy. In many cases, it was very relaxed style. Sometimes they added some grunge into that. The glamour there wasn't that ornate like in the 50s. So I don't know how to call it, but yeah, I think in general, majority of that is naturals, flamboyant naturals, soft naturals. But again, the peak of mishmash, I think, happened in 2000s. This is when you can't say, of course, that some clothes that was considered to be casual, for example, sports suit, it became pink and it became glamorous with stones on it. So something unmatching started match in the same outfit, or people could go on stage in a sports suit, or people could go for a walk in a sparkling gown. You know, this is what happens in the 2000s. Women started undressing, women started wearing very sleek clothes made with very stretched and elastic materials to show all their curves. There can be a mixture of 70s, for example, with all those hippies and undone hair and very relaxed clothes and very unisex clothes. There was a lot of sports stylization, and sports clothes became glamorous clothes. This is, I think, when sports and glamour came together. But I still can't decide for what kind of type that is. It's just elements of many types, I would say. 2010, it was time of a street fashion photography. This is when street fashion became very, very popular. The models became real people. So here we can see two very different lines started appearing. On one hand, street fashion that doesn't follow any rules. This type is quite flamboyant, natural, right? Very casual looking, slightly unconstructed, slightly weird, interesting looking. This is also the time when we start seeing so-called ugly beauty, is when models are very unusual. They have such an interesting facial features that it attracts people's attention. They are tired of perfect standards. People start protesting against that. And so the fashion also, they started calling it ugly fashion. They wear something extremely weird, extremely sharp, extremely short, something that you would never even think it about before. So that was one line. Another line, it was very, very sexy, like we call it porn chic vibe. It comes from Kim Kardashian with all those elastic dresses that are very, very sleek on the body, and also she did that surgery for her bum to make it bigger looking, and she's quite short. So that was kind of another line, to be that super, super sexy and very glamorous and very polished lady. And so on one hand, we see something kind of like relaxed and natural going on, and on the other hand, it was like a modern glam, slightly drag queen glam. And I've seen some people say that Kim Kardashian, yeah, she's like trying to do that theatrical romantic look or something. That is not theatrical romantic. That is not what David Kibbe explained in his book about. While all this is happening, again, on the street fashion, women are experimenting a lot with everything. And they try to dress different types. And I love that, you know? Sometimes you could see like gaminish outfits, sometimes like natural, sometimes this or that. People are playing with clothes. There's a lot of online shops of clothes, a lot of clothes in general is being produced, so people are getting it, and people like to make pictures and upload it on the internet. Because of loads of social media, loads of YouTube and Pinterest and all that stuff, it became very popular. So people wanted to see that and people wanted to shoot that. And if you look at that, I would not say that this very romantic, to be honest. It's not theatrical romantic as well. This is just an elastic fabric that is wrapped around the body. It doesn't give any romantic feature to it necessarily, or dramatic feature necessarily. Yes, she herself, she's quite soft. I think she's soft natural or something. She chooses to wear that type of like very, very sleek clothes, but don't mix it with theatrical romantic or romantic clothes like Kibbe said in his book. In 2010s, I think designers also played with stuff. They could blend several styles in one single piece. They could make baggy pants, very sports and casual pants, right? They could make them out of very shiny material. So it's not quite evening, it's not quite daytime. You don't understand. It's like fabric itself and the color and the shape are not quite matching. And then now, if we talk about now, it's pretty early to talk about 2020. Lately, minimalism became a very big thing because people accumulated stuff and they started getting rid of that stuff, and they even ready to pay to somebody so they would tell them how to throw off their stuff. So minimalism became a huge idea, like philosophical idea, and people were kind of tired of everything, of that busy silhouettes. They're tired of thinking, analyzing, looking at all that busy stuff and noisy outfits and silhouettes, so everything becomes simpler. We're coming back to classic style. It's slightly modified. It's not like super classic. Sometimes they can make super classic coat, but in a very bright color, for example. Or they can make super classic coat, but oversized. Or make super classic coat and wear it with very oversized pants or something like that. That's also mix and match, but this is slightly different direction. So I think nowadays the most popular outfits would be dramatic classic outfits. Also, street fashion is big, YouTube is big, Pinterest, Instagram is big, self-made designers, self-made fashion bloggers, and self-made models, I can say so. With all those different types, they try to pick stuff and they try to create different kinds of silhouettes. So we can see basically anything now and present it in a very interesting way. On this picture, we can see everything that is unconstructed, bulky, and very flowing. It's more for naturals and for flamboyant naturals, for naturals in general. But we also can see a lot of constructed silhouettes, a lot of constructed details. That stands for more dramatic women, so that is also very big today. Like if you look at this lady, she has that green dress, like khaki color. You don't see its shape very well. You can see some waist emphasis, but it's slightly like a bag. It doesn't have any sharp angles. It's pretty rounded. It's pretty puffy. So you can't even say for who it is. Probably more natural vibe dress, I would say. But it does look interesting. It does look chic nowadays. We are rethinking all those past eras of fashion as well. For example, this picture is 2019 and you can see some 70s vibe in there. Long dress, long vertical line, undone hippie's hair, not too busy silhouette, pretty simple. High heels. That is another mix and match. Like in the 70s, these women would probably wear sandals or maybe some platform shoes. Or here, look how huge everything is. How elongated. That definitely stands for flamboyant natural stuff. That one, natural hair, loads of ruffles in her dress, but it doesn't look delicate at all because it's still pretty baggy and there's a lot of stuff going on in there. She's wearing sneakers, right? Like here as well. Pretty baggy and unconstructed shape. I don't know what it is, dress or something else. Yeah, looks like a dress. Then gamine haircut, gamine bag, and sneakers. Interesting. So that bagginess, that unconstructedness was made on purpose. Here we can see also some 70s influence in that. Denim colors, mustard colors, that is more 70s, right? And then relaxed hair, jeans, turtleneck, big jackets. That's what I was telling you before. Pretty classic, pretty clean coat, head to toe, but it's baggy and very unconstructed on her. It was made specifically like that. It wasn't supposed to be just bigger than her size. It's just the way it's built. It's just the way they tailor it. Or homeless style. Actually, homeless style started being very big in the 90s and still many people are doing that. You kind of wear everything that you found around yourself. That one is also very 70s. Relaxed hair, all those earthy colors, autumn colors. Big jackets, big pants, boots. Quite natural vibe. Also rethinking some 80s. Different colors, different textures. Like here too, that's a modern street style. Huge coats are very big nowadays, right? But they don't look quite as they looked in the 80s, right? They look slightly different because the clothes changed, everything is quite changed, but it's still mix and match of everything. Alright, I hope that was interesting for you. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye.